to episode of Confidence Culture Conversations. And it appears we are on episode 65, Kirubai. How did we get here?
Well, being intentional and persistently doing one episode after the other, we have been very intentional about it. Well, we have also taken our breaks anyway.
We have. No, but we've done good. We've done
Yeah,
good. I think, do you know what? Sometimes when you're doing something by yourself, it's a lot harder to stay consistent.
that's
But
right.
when you're doing it with somebody else, you're accountable to each other.
Hmm.
So you know you've got to show up.
Yes, you have to show up on a Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock live every Tuesday. Yes. Why did we choose Tuesday?
It was the evening that worked for both of us.
I think so too. I think so too. Yeah. We started off just doing half an hour, and now we stretch it on till about quarter to 45 minutes, an hour. But it all depends on the topic at hand.
Absolutely.
But I think today we have a very, very interesting topic. Don't you think so, Elizabeth?
We do, definitely. And I'm gonna let you like bring in the topic. But before we do, Kirubai, do you want to just introduce yourself in case there's someone new watching today?
We have someone new. Hmm. Well, I think
But you
people.
know, you never know.
You never know. Well, my name is Kirubai Kahoot, and I call myself a personal transformation coach inside and out. And I help women, men, mostly women. I believe I love empowering women to work on their insecurities, their traumas, and things that really bother the affairs of the heart. So when your heart is in the right place, then you're outside. You look great, because I also am a trained stylist. So I like to combine the inside and the outside to make a holistic person look great and amazing and wonderful. So, well, Elizabeth, what about you?
Me? Well, I'm Elizabeth, right? No, so for those that are watching and you're probably wondering who are these people in front of you. So Kirubai has introduced herself. So I'm Elizabeth Olujimi, aka the Thriving Coach. And I help Christian women to thrive with confidence, um, in who they are, who God has called them to be, so that they can make impact, so that they can leave a legacy, and
Mhm.
so that they can fulfill their God given purpose. So that's me in one nutshell. But I do a lot of other different things. So I'm a motivational speaker. I run workshops around well-being. We do confidence culture in collaboration with Kirubai. But I also, alongside my husband, run a network for Christians in business. And we've got an amazing event coming up this Saturday. And we'll give you some more information about it in a couple of minutes.
A couple of minutes. Aren't you going to plug it in now?
In a couple of minutes, Kirubai, don't worry. Just keep coming with the conversation and we'll bring
Okay.
it in.
Hello, Tunji. Tunji says hi, and Tunji has been always there in the background supporting confidence culture conversations. Thank you, Tunji. And by the way, Tunji is Elizabeth's darling husband. Well, so coming to the topic at hand today, believe in more.
Hmm.
It is how it is all about believing in yourself, and that there is a whole ocean of opportunities for you.
Come
Having
on.
the mindset of an abundant mindset that is wide and large, a mindset that really you can grasp anything you want, you believe and you achieve. So we are
Mm.
talking about some of the things that we have always talked over our podcast. But today, specifically, we're going to zero in on some of the things that makes an abundance mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So Elizabeth, I know we always talk about having the right impact. Last week we spoke about being a river and having the
Absolutely.
right impact in people's lives. When you have a narrow mindset, when you have a mindset that is not open to giving,
Mm,
you actually lose a lot in life when you are. We talked about being selfish. To
absolutely.
recap, so having an abandoned mindset is actually having a mindset that is willing to give.
Mm.
So Elizabeth, what is your concept of an abundant mindset?
Wow, wow. Sure is. Just threw it at me. Right. I think you just mentioned it, and when I think the word abundance, one of the first things that comes to mind is a Bible verse I learned years and years ago. So John 10:10, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I have come that you might have life, and that life you might have in abundance. Or in some Bible versions, it's in overflow. So when we're talking about abundance, like we're talking about taking the limits off.
Mm,
We're talking about like stretching. You know how God say to Abram, as far as you can see.
mhm,
That's abundance, like as far as you can see. It's about not having a limited perspective. Now, some people might also liken it or compare it to having a growth mindset.
mhm,
So the abundance mindset is kind of like a growth mindset, while the opposite, which is a scarcity mindset, is like a fixed mindset.
mhm.
When you are thinking from an abundance mindset perspective, you see more, you see potential. And it's funny because as I'm saying this now, I'm just reminded about how nowadays when I'm having conversations with somebody, and let's say they're talking about like a business idea, I start seeing more for them. Like I start, and I'm like, do you know that you could, like, there's so much more that you can do. So yeah, abundance is really like taking the limits off and being able to see like the endless possibilities.
Yeah.
One of the things I wrote in the spiel that I shared when we shared the video, in the description of the video, was about like the idea of seeing the glass half full or half empty.
Mhm, mhm.
And you can use that illustration when we're talking about abundance mindset or scarcity mindset. If you're always seeing it as it's almost empty, like it's almost gone, it's running out, as opposed to actually it's half full. Like we've got something to work with. So abundance mindset is you see that there is something to work with and you see the potential in it.
So it's basically a belief system, right? A belief
Mhm.
system that is so positive, so innovative, so expressional in all the ways. That means you can express abundant mindset in through your success, happiness, your wealth, and and everyone can have a share in that pie that's out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? It's really taking the limits off.
Yeah.
Taking the limits off in your imagination, in because when you have a limited perspective, you can only go so far. Because how we see determines how we posture ourselves.
Mm,
How we see determines the actions we're taking.
mhm.
So it's important for us to be able to see and not see the limits, see beyond the limits, take the limits off.
Take the limits off. So, like John Maxwell says, take the lid off.
That's it. That's
Take the
it.
lid
Don't put a
off.
lid on yourself.
Take the lid off your mindset. Take it off. Let
Mm,
it flow. Let the creativity flow. Let all the juices flow. Let your dreams that has been compressed and contained, let it flow. When once it starts flowing, you indeed, you will feel wow. You'll feel, I have an abundance mindset. And there
mhm,
is a scripture, you are what you think, in Proverbs.
mhm. Yeah.
It goes like, wait, I'm trying to Google it. It's something
As
to
a
do.
man thinketh in his heart,
Yes,
so is
that's
he.
right. As a man thinks, so is he. So if you think you have plenty that is within your reach, then you have plenty. You never
Yeah.
run dry. The river
Mm,
never runs dry. So one of the things that I was just as I was preparing and talking, thinking about these things, Elizabeth mentioned about, are you a glass half full person, or are you a glass half empty person? And that
mm,
talks about your attitude to life, an attitude to life. And when you have, we all go through obstacles in our lives. So turning every obstacle to an opportunity, that's
that's it.
having a positive and a thriving and an abundance mindset.
Mm,
If we are going to focus on our obstacles, the challenges that we have in our lives, we are never going to progress.
yeah.
Maybe there is a moment where you can have a pity party. That is allowed,
Mm,
but you cannot sit and dwell on it. When you sit and dwell on it, you tend to want, you tend to go into depression, you tend to go into being very remorse, you tend to go into a mode that you don't want to see anyone. But all these negativity, actually, it dries the well, it dries up the well. But when you take the lid off, there's something that's bubbling within you that wants to come out. So you can take a moment to, you know, I want to I want to lie in my pity party bed. But you know what? That's not going to happen when you have a
mm.
mindset that is abundance. Abundance is important in all walks of life, in all things to be abundant. So, Elizabeth, so when you talk about obstacles, I'm sure you have gone through some obstacles in life, right?
Oh, yes. I
Li-
think we all go through some obstacles.
Yeah, life is full of challenges. So,
Mm.
um, is there a story on this matter? I mean, I have plenty of stories. Elizabeth God has been, God has been blessing her differently. I have been the naughty one, running helters and skelters. God has always turned my challenges and my challenges to opportunities.
Yeah, do you know what? It's when we talk about mindset, we also talk about perspective, isn't it?
Yes.
And you rightly mentioned about not just seeing the barriers, the obstacles as things that limit us, but seeing them as opportunities, as things that we can thrive on, things that we can kind of tag on. I remember when I was, this is probably not the best example, but I'm just showing a different perspective. When I had the opportunity to leave my job, and I remember thinking to myself, you've got a stable income, you've got a young family. Why do you want to leave your job to supposedly go and start another business, go and start a business, something you have never done before? Like, why do you want to do that? And I was like, hang on a minute. Yes, I'm not going to have stability initially, but doesn't mean that will be the story forever. But one of the ways I started to, the perspective I then started to see it from was I was being paid to leave my job because it was, you're going to be given a package to leave your job. And the reality was, you're not bound by anything. You can go and get another job if you want to. You can run away, take the money, and do whatever you want with it. But it's the perspective. And I remember one time speaking to one of my colleagues, and he had been with the business for like 10, 15 years. So he would get a really good package.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no, I'm not about to go. And I'm like, why? And because I was like, you're going to get some good money and you can go and get another job. And he said, yeah, but I'm handling the mortgage myself right now. So I don't want any like insecurity. I don't want
Mm.
anything that brings instability. So
Yeah,
I'm going to stick with
that's
where
right.
I am. Funny enough, a few years later, he left the job. So I don't know if he got the pay package that he would have gotten then, but it's seeing things from a different perspective, and you've got to be able to shift the way that you see things, because we limit ourselves with the way that we see. If you see that you can only go this far, and it might be because of an obstacle that
Mm.
you have faced. For some of us, you might see your background and think, my background is a problem. My obstacle is, my background. Or people look at my surname and they automatically class me in a certain box. And because of that, you might tell yourself, I can't go beyond this place. I
Mm.
can't go beyond this point. That's a scarcity
Mm.
mindset.
Mm. Yeah,
But
talking. Sorry.
see You have to see beyond that and
Mm.
see that there is more to who you are. And I think when I think about like abundance, and I think about like my business name, Dare to Believe, I'm
Mm.
like, that's like stretching you to take the limits off
Yeah,
and
that's
to
right.
shift to an abundance mindset.
Mm. Yeah, that's really a good example that you're sharing. And I always ask myself, why did I become a coach? It's
Mm,
because of the obstacles that I was facing, that I could, help other people realize the opportunities they can have over their obstacles. You know, being let's start with the style, being a stylist, being a plus size person. It was really difficult for me to put things together, and I was struggling with it, and that was because of my personal, lacked confidence and self-esteem. So I
wow.
thought I'll train myself and present myself, and I could always turn that into a business. And it's the same with the story of my abuse, and how I had to deal with all the insecurities, the rejection, the betrayal that I was going through myself, and
Mm,
overcoming shortcomings like unforgiveness, bitterness, and anger. I had to deal with it first. And I know, when we deal with all these things, you actually have abundant life.
mm,
And these things bring death to our soul. So why not turn my passion to profit?
that's it.
Yes. So the opportunities arise for me to bring abundance to myself and to others today.
Mm, that's good. That's good. And you know what? When you are in business, you have to if you want to be successful in business, you have to shift to an abundance mindset.
Yes.
Like that should be the default, because if you remain in a scarcity place, your business is not going to grow. You will hit an obstacle and you say, this is as far as I can come. There'll be nothing pushing you to go forward. But when you have an abundance mindset, you see the endless possibilities that your business can have.
Mhm.
And you stretch yourself, you push yourself, you grow your vision. Because you know what? When you start your business, your vision is like this. But as you go on in life, your vision Like it enlarges, it grows, it widens. Why? Because your perspective
Mm.
has also been shifting, and actually your position has been shifting. Because if you think about it, like if I stand here and I try and look ahead, I can only see so far. But if I move forward, I can see farther on, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So likewise with our vision and with this idea of abundance, like as we are moving forward, our vision can grow, it can widen. Like 10 years down the line, like it will be clearer. You will have more clarity on your vision. You have more clarity on whether it's your dream, whether it's your business, whatever it is that you're building. But you have to be able to see beyond. Like don't just put yourself in a cage or in a can. And that's what a scarcity mindset can do. It's like you're limiting yourself to this cage, you're limiting yourself to this corner. But abundance looks beyond the cage. Abundance sees possibilities outside of the cage. You know when they say think outside the box,
Mm.
think outside the box. Don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. It's like, and I'm going to bring the church into it here. I'll bring the church into it here. You know, sometimes with church, we limit ourselves to the four walls of the church, and we are not looking beyond the four walls. But actually, God has called us beyond the four walls. So, if, for example, you're watching this and you're a Christian out there, and you are like limiting your perspective of church and what God can do to the four walls, then you need to start stretching. You need to start stretching beyond the four walls, because this is where things like marketplace ministry come into play. God has not just called us to be in the church, in the four walls. Like we are the church. So we are not limited to four walls. Wherever we are, the church can be, right? So it's seeing beyond that. It's seeing beyond the limitations that you have been placed in. When I started my business and I started doing stuff on social media, and I started realizing, wait, I'm like getting connected to people in America, I'm getting connected to people in different parts of the world. And I started to realize that, like, when you come onto the social media scene, it widens your reach, it widens your perspective, it opens up this avenue of abundance. And if you are limited, if you have a scarcity mindset, you'll be too scared. You'll be too scared to take a step on it. You'll be too scared to build on that. But when you have an abundance mindset, you start to see beyond where you are. Like, oh, my business might be here, but I can serve people who are thousands of miles away
Yeah.
because I have the vehicle of social media.
Hmm. And with all the connections through Zoom and what's that stream, is it streamline?
StreamYard or Streamlabs, whichever.
Yes. So with all the amenities that we find on the computers these days, Teams, and we are connected globally. We are connected. So that has expanded from a one-to-one meetup, one-to-one, and it has gone viral and it has gone global.
That's it.
Yeah. So that there's such an expansion to conducting business online, and thanks to COVID, thanks to the lockdown,
Mm,
we have to rethink. Yeah, we had to rethink. We had to have a shift in mindset to
that's
work.
it.
Yeah, to shift. And one of the things is having an abundant mindset. It encourages us to be grateful,
Mm,
an attitude of
mm,
gratitude. So when
yeah.
when 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 every opportunity you think of it as an I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful with that, having an attitude of gratitude. So everything you see positive, every opportunity you see it as a positive. Every open door, you see it as a positive. Every obstacle, as we talked about, you see it as a positive. So this is something that I've been very intentionally doing. I
That's
always
good.
ask myself, who am I going to impact today?
Mm,
Who am I going to speak to and encourage them today? And who am I going to touch a life today? And most times, Elizabeth, I can tell you that God will always bring someone in my life or someone I can connect with, not just for business,
absolutely.
just to chat in the gym or in the supermarket or something out there, or going to the park. And
Mm,
there is a way, I God is telling me, be generous with with what I have given you.
wow.
It's the gift of the gap. You can encourage someone.
There you go. There you go.
And strangely enough, I think this is so amazing. I was on the treadmill last week, and there was this very elderly lady on the treadmill. No, she's very frail, and she was on the treadmill. And she finished. She just did, I think, for 10 minutes, and she was getting down. And I said, "Well done." And she smiled at me, and we started having a conversation. I've always seen her this last 5 months. I always see her. She comes with two walking sticks trying to balance. And I love her enthusiasm. And I
Mm,
asked her, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? Because I was really itching to ask. And she said, I am 94. I nearly fell off the machine.
94.
94, mind you. And she
Wow.
comes every day to do half an hour of exercise.
Wow.
Well done. I tell you, I
That's
was
up to
amazed.
her.
And she has gone through 11 accidents,
Oh my days.
and she is a walking testimony. I was generous with my appreciation for her because it put me to shame.
Wow.
And she herself had an abundant mindset. She said, I want to live a life. I don't want to give anyone trouble. That's why I come here and exercise. I thought that was remarkable.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing her in the gym. And, by just seeing her, it gives me a lot of oomph to say, I want
Mm,
to be like her. And
yeah.
she went through many, many obstacles physically.
Mm,
So, because I opened my mouth and I encouraged her. So never give up on your gift of the gap, because the out of this mouth there will be an abundance of encouragement. There'll be
mm,
abundance of positivity. The encouragement that you speak to someone will bless someone else.
absolutely. And like your mindset, whether it's an abundance mindset or scarcity mindset, can be evident in the words that you speak.
Oh, yes.
It can be evident in your actions, it can be evident in the words that you're speaking. If you're always seeing it as oh, there's not enough, we can't do anything with this. And I want to use like an example in the Bible, again bringing the Bible up, but yeah. It's a perfect tool to use. um the when the disciples came to Jesus and said, we've got this massive crowd of people, how are
Mm,
we going to feed them?
hmm.
And Jesus is like, what have we got? What have we got? And they're like, there's a little boy here, he's got some lunch. And he had, what was it, 5 loaves and 3 fish, or 5 loaves and 2 fish, one of the two.
Two
And
fish.
thank you. And literally, they're like, this is not enough. This is not going to feed all of us. Like, Jesus, hello, have you seen how many people are here? Like, it's not gonna work. And what did Jesus do? The Bible says that he lifted it up and he gave thanks.
Yes,
And there
gratitude.
was a multiplication. Now, if we're to just break that down,
Hmm.
if we're to just break that down, you might be in a place where you don't have an abundance mindset, you have a scarcity mindset, but maybe you can just do what Jesus did and take the little that you have and give thanks to God. Basically, take your little into God's big hands and he will multiply it, he will bring the abundance.
Hmm.
The lady that Elijah went to meet, it was Elijah, no,
Yes,
Elisha.
Elisha, the little oil.
Yes. All she literally, this lady says, I've only got enough oil to bake this, have it, and that's it. All she could see was luck, scarcity. This is all I've got. She didn't see the potential beyond. She just saw that this is all I have. But bring your scarcity, bring your luck into the hands of God. And that's what happened when the man of God said, can you make me something? She could have said, like, get out of my, like, I don't have anything for you, go. But she was open. And she agreed. After like looking at what she had, she realized she didn't have much. But she obeyed. And it was good she obeyed. Because abundance happened afterwards. She had an endless supply.
Well, that's a good, good real life story that happened 2,000 years ago. A good example, Elizabeth. Thank you for sharing about the parable of the two fish and 5 loaves of bread and the oil. It's amazing, amazing, amazing miracle that the Lord performed. And when you have a mindset that's trusting the Lord, that He is the Lord of the abundance, you
Mm,
will be blessed. And coming to this area, I think we another area that we all struggle is to be generous,
mm,
generosity. Because the Bible very clearly, we're talking a lot about the Bible today. The Bible very clearly talks about tithing. There's a lot of theories and a lot of misunderstanding about tithing. And God
mm.
says in the Old Testament, He says, give your 1/10. So I've also heard messages that we are living in the times of grace where we need to give more than 1/10. But even that 1/10, God says be faithful. And that
Absolutely.
is being generous, just not with our money, but with our
Mm.
time, with our whatever
With your
we have.
resource.
Yeah, your time, your money, and more so your in your relationships. You have
Mm.
to be generous with your relationships, especially when you make connections. It's time driven.
Absolutely.
You never know who is your destiny helper out there.
Mm.
Talking about time, we all say we don't have time. We don't have time to connect with our own families, our parents, our elderly parents. Sometimes husbands don't connect with their wives, wives don't connect with husbands, children don't connect with parents. This vicious cycle goes on. But you know what?
Mm.
When you give time, that's being generous with your time and not being selfish. It actually yields much in the future because
It
it is
does.
an investment. It's like you're banking something. So,
Mm.
so being generous is is a lifelong learning, and it's also a
Mm.
lifelong of practicing in every aspects of our lives. What do you think, Elizabeth?
No, you're absolutely right in terms of like um I'll use the Bible again. When the Bible talks about give and it shall come back to you, good measure, pressed down, shake it
Mm,
together and running over.
mhm.
And when you When you have a scarcity mindset, it's like you're seeing that this money can get finished. But an abundance mindset is a mindset that believes like God will supply more. Is he
Hmm.
not the one that supplied this one that we have?
Hmm.
So surely he can supply more. It's being able to see that what you have is like a seed.
Mm, I love
And
that.
I think that's what abundance awakens in us, is seeing what you have as a seed, whether it's your time, whether it's finances, whatever it is, seeing it as a seed and realizing that this seed has potential. The seed right now might look like something very tiny, but in the right environment, under the right conditions, this seed can bring forth fruit. And yes, there is seed time and harvest, right? It's not just seed and then harvest straight away. Seed time and harvest. So abundance mindset sees that yes, I might have a seed right now, but this seed has potential for greatness. Realizing that even your gift is a seed.
Hmm.
You yourself can be a seed into somebody's life. Because like we talked last week, you can be a river that creates impact, that is impacting the world around you. That's like a seed. Like you are a seed to your generation, and you can bear fruit. And when we see it from that perspective, I think it can change a lot. And the example, again, Bible, but the example that comes to mind is the parable of the talents.
Mm.
The parable of the talents. That gentleman who had the one and he decided to bury it. He's like this can go like this. I'm gonna hide it because I don't want to lose it. I don't want anything to happen to it. So I'm gonna. And some of us are doing that. We are hoarding,
Mm. Ooh,
and
strong word.
hoarding is a sign of a scarcity mindset.
Mm.
It's a sign of ugh, okay, yeah, it's a sign of a scarcity mindset. When you hold on to things like that, you don't realize that there is more. And we need to, like, if we are going to thrive in life, whether it's in business, whether it's in the way that we see ourselves, whether it's in our community, the networks that we build, in our faith, whatever it is, if we are going to thrive, if we are going to be successful, we need to be able to take the limits off and see beyond where we are, see beyond what we have been given. Like, you might look at what you've been given and say, wait, hang on a minute, but why did that person get more than I got? Why have I got this little? Take what you have and go multiply it. Take what you have, put it in the right environment, under the right conditions, put it in the hands of God. There was something Christine Kane said in one of her podcasts a few months ago. And she said, take your little and put it in the hands of a big God,
Mm.
and it will become big.
Yeah. 'Cause it will
And
do
it will
it.
exceed your imagination.
30 years, 60 and 100 folds. It will yield. Yep. It might start small, but you know what? There is a big yielding that it comes to the end of the process. There's a big yielding that comes, and
Absolutely.
the being generous, your pot never goes dry. There's always a supernatural multiplication that takes place.
Mm,
It never gets dry. Never, never, never gets dry. So one of the other things that I thought, we were as I was thinking about it, it is being when you have an abundant mindset, you want to celebrate someone else's success,
mm,
and celebrating one another's success. It's actually especially if it's in an office environment. If your colleague gets a promotion, and the promotion passes you by, are you in a mindset to celebrate someone else's success? And
mm.
that takes a lot of a person.
Wow.
And celebrating successes and celebrating someone else's fortune, you really need the grace of God. And that speaks about where your heart is, whether you have an abundant mindset and your heart is in the right place.
Mm.
So, as believers, the women and men of faith, we need to celebrate each other because Elizabeth is good in many, many things, which I am not good. And I am good in many things, and my Elizabeth might not be good. And Tunji is good in so many things that we both might not be good. But you know what? When we see each other, we need to celebrate without
Mm.
malice, without malice. Because to each God gives talents, like what Elizabeth said, talents and our anointing covers these talents. So let's celebrate one another, especially in families. We don't celebrate each other. Just Mother's Day, Father's Day, but appreciating husband and wives we're doing for
Mm.
each other, and children celebrating their parents, and parents celebrating children. Grandparents, we always forget grandparents. So we need to celebrate. Ah, Sister Bernice,
Hi, Bernice.
we
Are you
celebrate
still
you,
in
sister.
Kenya?
We celebrate you. Doing some
Yes.
wonderful work in Kenya.
Mm.
Mm. So, yes, so we always need to have abundant mindset. When we want to move forward, we need to focus on today,
Mm.
leaving the past behind and scaling on to the future that is already prepared for you. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard the future God has got for each one of you. So let's focus on today and the future.
Mm. Mm. You just reminded me that when we have a scarcity mindset, we tend to like hold on to the things of the past or like past victories. We're
Mhm.
not necessarily seeing how we can be victorious ahead. We're seeing how we have been victorious in times past,
Yeah.
and we're holding on to that instead of now focusing on the victory ahead of us and working with that or working towards that. So yeah, the conversation around abundance is one that like we all need to like check ourselves,
Mhm.
and just really like look at the way that even the phrases that we say, are we speaking from a place of abundance or a place of lack, a place of scarcity? Because sometimes you don't realize that even your words are keeping you there. Your words are keeping you locked up in that place of lack and scarcity. So start to change your words, start to reframe your world with your words and shift your thinking, change your thinking pattern so that you start to see endless possibilities. You start to see more. You start to see a life where there's no limitations. You start to see, a business where there's no limitations. You start to see a world where there's no limitations. Now, that's not to say that the reality is actually like a limit. That's fine. That's what the reality might look like. I mean, the little boy with his bread and fish. The reality was that's all there was. That's all there was. And so human nature sees from a scarcity perspective. Human nature sees from like, this is all I got. It doesn't see the big picture. It doesn't see the fact that what you have is a seed that can be multiplied. It's a seed that can be multiplied. And I'm going to use this opportunity to plug in Kingdompreneurs Summit. We're
All
talking about
right.
abundance. The theme for Kingdompreneurs Summit is scale up,
Skills.
scale up. It's time to shift. It's time for a shift. So, if you are a Christian in business, a professional, you're passionate about the marketplace, you realize that God is calling you beyond the four walls of church, and you need to pitch your tent outside the four walls, beyond the four walls, enlarge your tent, then the Kingdompreneur Summit is for you, because it's your time, it's your season to scale up. It's happening this Saturday, 8th of June in London. We have literally just changed the hotel so we can accommodate you. So you better show up. But you have less than 24 hours to get your tickets. You have less than 24 hours to get your tickets. So if you want to be at the Kingdompreneurs Summit, then you need to get your tickets literally like this evening, latest like tomorrow morning, like fasting in the morning. You wake up at 6 a.m., buy my ticket. That's it, done. Literally, like if you want, and you know what, you want to be in the room, because there's some amazing people that are going to be speaking, that are going to be sharing their expertise. Like it's an opportunity for you to come and learn. It's an opportunity for you to come and connect. It's an opportunity for you to grow and enlarge your, like I said it last week, it's like rivers that are converging together, and it's time for you to come and join that impact, that ripple effect. Come and get the ripple effect right at the source, so that that ripple can be multiplied in you and impact other people. So you want to be at the Kingdompreneurs Summit. Now I'm going to share the link if I can on here really quickly. I'll share the link so you don't say that she told us, but she didn't tell us how we can get the tickets. So let me see if I got the link here. I think I have. Okay, not that one. I will send the link. I will share the link. But Kiruba is going to be there. I'm going to be there. My husband's going to be there. And some amazing people are going to be in the room. You just never know that maybe the mentor you're looking for, the coach you're looking for, the partner, the collaborative partner you're looking for could actually be in the room. So click the link, go register, and reserve your seat. Reserve your seat. Hi, Ethel. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Ethel.
Click the link and reserve your seat. And even if you can't make it, but you want to be a part of it in some way, and maybe you want to sew into it, you can go on the website. There's an opportunity for you to sponsor, to give. You can even buy a ticket for somebody. You can even buy a ticket for somebody, so you can pay it forward, as they call it. But we would love to have you in the room. We would love to see you there. So join us on Saturday. It's going to be an amazing day. I'm looking forward to it. My parents are going to be in the room because they're coming to support.
Oh, your father's going to be there.
Yes, the bishop all the way from Uganda is
Wow,
coming.
it was really a privilege to meet him then.
He's going to be in the room. So I'm excited. I'm excited. And it's great to be able to do things where your family comes and supports and celebrates you. And we've been talking about celebrating each other and lifting each other up and making impact. So you have got to be there. You've got to be there. Like, I cannot sell it enough. Like, I'm already biased, but I cannot sell it enough. Now, one of the things we're going to do in the day is we're going to share a testimony of a couple who came last year. It was their first summit last year. And they came as vendors, and they brought the 360 machine, which everyone loved. I probably loved more than everyone else, but I enjoyed it. I made the most of it. But anyway, within the last 12 months, because it's been a year, within the last 12 months, their business has catapulted.
Ooh.
Like, God has really exposed them. They came to the Kingdompreneurs Summit, and like they just gave, they just sold. They were there, they gave it their all. They were passionate about the vision, about everything. And it was almost like, I want to say they came by mistake. And when I say they came by mistake, they were talking to somebody, and she's like, I'm speaking at the Kingdompreneurs Summit. And the lady's like, wait, I've got Kingdompreneurs on my vision board. And she's like, we have to be there. We have to be there. And that's how they came to the summit. And now 12 months down the line, they have worked with some, yeah, they've worked with some amazing businesses. I'm not going to give the whole testimony away. It's really big, but they've gotten so much exposure in the last 12 months. And I was speaking to her the other day, and she said, I need to get people into the room because we partnered with Kingdompreneurs, and I can see what it has done for us.
Mm.
So people need to tap into this. So if you're like questioning, should I be there? Should I not be there? Like, taste the water. Come and taste the water, and you won't regret it. You won't regret it. If you come and you don't, you don't leave transformed. I'm saying it on here. Come to me for a refund. If you come and nothing shifts, because we've got Action Jackson in the room.
Mm.
Action Jackson is the kind of guy that wears a t-shirt that says "Shut up and take action." So like his t-shirt, before he even speaks, his t-shirt is speaking to you to go and take action. So like you can't go wrong by coming to the Kingdompreneurs Summit. And I look forward to seeing you. So when you do come and give us a high five. Come and say hello. Like, I watched you on Confidence Culture Conversations. Kiruba, you take it away because I'm going. I'm going places.
Well, I'm looking forward to being there together with Elizabeth. And we met 2022 at the Kingdompreneurs Summit, and since then we have made a lot of progress. And what just started as for fun confidence culture conversation has now turned into 65 episodes. We have been doing loads of loads and loads of loads and loads of workshops, and we have now formed a community interest company where we're going to work with grassroots community people. So what started off as a spark has now actually caught fire, and that's what will happen when you are in the Kingdompreneurs Summit. You will meet many different people, and you might find your collaborative partner. You might even find your life partner there. You never know.
Okay, Kiruba.
You never know how God moves and how God connects. So I will be happy to be there. And you know what? It's such a blessing. It's just at my doorstep now. I don't have to travel 1 hour to be
I
the.
think we had you in mind,
Oh,
Kiruba. You've
thank
been
you
praying
so
hard.
much.
You've been
Thank
praying
you.
hard, and God was like, we need to change the venue and move it closer to Kiruba.
So yes, we are looking forward to it, and thank you for joining us. Yes, come and say hello to me. Which I had last year. I had so many people say, "I know you. I know you." I said, "Do I know you?" But you know what? You make new friends and build new relationships and connections.
Absolutely.
So don't forget. Let me say goodbye now, and we look forward to seeing you next Saturday, coming Saturday. But we're also looking forward to seeing you on Tuesdays, live at 7 UK time. Bye for now. Have abundance of mindset and be blessed.
God bless you.